What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in on today's video. We have an exciting install video going in today, and we also have quite a bit of updating to do in this video because we have been making some headway on the race truck build here, and I'm going to showcase some of the products that we've been installing and just going over basically everything we've been doing over the last few months. It's been a minute since I last posted when the engine went in, and so we're going to be going over some of those things. And then also, like I said, big time install here coming up as well. So thank you guys for tuning in on today's video. Stay tuned. Let's do it. Man, where to even start on this bad girl right here? I guess we'll start over here on our driver's side. This is going to be our new power steering reservoir right here. We've got a large hose. This is going to be our main feed down to the pump. We've got a return hose off the pump, and then we are also going to have a return hose off of our Hydro Boost as well. So obviously our main feed, and then our two return lines, and then hopefully this reservoir is large enough for our needs. So that is securely mounted to our inner fender here, and then we've got our PCM officially mounted. This is a 2003 PCM, even though this is a 2006 truck, and that is because we are going to be running the Warren diesel standalone harness. You guys can see I've got it pretty much plumbed in here. Got our FICM connectors going over there. You still have to use the factory FICM / injector harness in there, but you can see we've got a lot of the stuff plumbed up already. But our PCM is securely mounted. This puppy's not going nowhere. In the back there, you can see we've got our regulated return set up over there. We've got our fuel lines ran to the back of the head. And then also, if we look up front here, you guys can see we've got our front lines plumbed as well to the front of our heads. This is the previous regulated return kit that we had on the truck. Obviously, we had to mount it in our own fashion over here. But nonetheless, like I said, ABS module, as you can see, is not over here. We are eliminating the ABS module. So going from there, we can jump over and see this beautiful big turbo in here being fed by our SoCal billet manifolds and up pipes coming up to our S480 turbo here. And then we've got the SoCal billet intercooler pipes. This is the one piece from SoCal billet, and then this is their S400 series. It's V-banded up here, and then it'll come down right there. The reason I got this one where it kind of comes up over the alternator, if we run dual pumps and we want to run the Warren kit over here, we still have that possibility. This might even get moved around a little bit for room for that. But KC Turbos also has an option down here for the power steering pump. So that would be in the event that we have to run dual pumps on this setup. Quick too, if we look back in here, we got a nice connector back here. That is actually going to be for our headlights. So when we want to tear down the truck to get to this point, we don't have to remove our headlights. We just simply unplug from that connector back there. The headlights will stay in as part of our header panel assembly. So yep, we're going to have the same exact thing over here on this side. See, I've got the harness ran for that in the back there, trying to, tuck it up, make it look nice. So it's just going to run back along the back side there to be able to come around and give power to our headlights on the passenger side. The next thing we can jump down to is, you can see I've been working on some stuff here on our frame rail for mounting our intercooler and our radiator setup up front. So these standoffs right here are for our intercooler on both sides, and then the lower mount is for our radiator. I ended up just cutting off the factory one, welding a piece here, and so we have the factory little bushings down there for our radiator. I will be adding some support for this, just in case. I mean, just want to make sure we don't have any issues, so probably will be adding some support for these. This isn't going anywhere. This won't be an issue. But yeah, so we've got a nice setup. I'll go ahead and throw those two pieces in so you guys can see. And there we are. You can see we've got our intercooler and radiator in there. Like I said, just these couple of little standoffs for our intercooler on both sides, feeding into the factory support. And then up top here, we've got a little bracketry coming off so that we can kind of bring these two together on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is have something come up and just kind of help hold one down a little bit, but then also keep our forward and aft movement so it doesn't move around too much. But you can see we've got our intercooler pipes nicely aligned here. Very nice, very, very nice, and I'm super excited. You can see our radiator mount down here at the bottom is money. Got upper radiator hose in here. We've got a nice gap up front here with our electric fans. And we've even matched the tilt of the engine a little bit, so you can see we tried our best to match that that angle of our engine. So yeah, very very exciting, very cool. It's surprising how long this stuff takes when it came to fabricating this stuff. I mean, you can see all my blocks of wood and shims over there, trying to get this stuff all level and perfect. So you can see up here, we had to make a little bit of clearance for this pipe right here. The way that it was meeting over here on this intercooler, that's where it needed to be, and it was hitting our hood. So we cut some support. That's okay. That's just, you know, easy weight removal right there. We are having an issue where it's bumping into our radiator cap up top here. And so we'll probably have to cut a little bit right in this section out of the hood as well. So, and then eventually we're going to have a hood stack hole going through somewhere over in that section as well. So, yeah, this hood's going to be getting cut up pretty good. But, and like I said, very cool. We've made some huge progress. It's hard for me to video all of this fabricating stuff. I had to check and triple check each time I made something. So it just took a lot of time. But we got the little Hobart over here, handler 140, did the trick, and it is looking good. Now, the whole point of having our cooler setups like this is a couple different reasons. One being, it's lightweight, right? We've only got a couple of little brackets that are going to be adding weight back versus our giant core support that was initially in the truck. And then also, we want to be able to run the truck without the grill and headlights in there. So if I can run the truck just like this, I want to be able to, and then we can reach right into these little pockets, you know, and check stuff out, check for oil leaks, easily work on. Being able to pop this stuff apart super easy is kind of the main goal here. So I've revised, I don't know how many times my idea as far as this goes. And now that we're here, I'm very, very happy with how I have it set up. So we're going to go ahead and crawl underneath the truck because we have another product down there that is super slick and super lightweight. And it helped us, once we were able to get that installed, we were able to set our how far back our engine was going to be tilting so that we could start fabricating up here. So let's crawl underneath the truck real quick. So the product that we have here is from Punch-Out Performance. And this is a piece of chromoly tubing. Couple of end pieces here. That way you can bolt it up to your frame rail. He supplied me with this urethane bushing here because we are going to be running this two-wheel drive 4R100 in the truck. And so had to get a little bit of different bushing there. But this piece is super, super nice. And it is extremely, extremely lightweight. I was very, very pleased with the product here. And yeah, once we were able to get this installed, then we were able to lower this transmission down and get it situated into its home. And that kind of set our initial tilt or angle, I guess, of our drivetrain so that we could continue working on stuff up front. Enough jibber jabber. Let's get into what we're installing today. All right, so Warren Diesel injection. We've got a set of 8 premium injectors from Warren Diesel. 430, 150, meaning 430 cc's of fuel, 150% over nozzle, over stock. They are a 7mm hybrid. And yeah, this should be enough fuel for 1,000 horsepower, fuel only, to the rear tires. And that is huge. That has been our main goal with the truck, is to get to 1,000 horsepower on fuel only. These are the street version 43150s, so they do not have the, I think they call them the de-stroked or stroke nozzle or whatever. So we can still drive the truck on the street with these injectors. And so with a combination of that and maybe some nitrous on the truck, we should be able to push this thing to 1,200 horsepower, maybe even more, depending on how much nitrous we spray. And so that's got me super excited. We might run into a dual pump issue here, but we're going to do what we can with what we got at this point. So that is today's project. We are going to get our valve covers back off, shove our injectors in. We've got oil rails, high flow standpipes, and we've also got our H-pod set up here that is going to be tapping into our oil rails as well. So big time exciting video. Let's kick it off. Let's do it. Okay, so new update here. We pulled the engine back out of the truck. Okay, so we're going to be running this right here, which is called the H-Pods, which is made by Diesel Site. Basically, what you're doing is you're dual feeding the oil rails from the high pressure pump. So back here, we've got this line that comes out of where the ICP sensor would normally be. You can see I've got it running alongside in here. We've got it clamped down. It runs to the front, comes up, and then feeds this distribution block. And then you can see we've got a ICP sensor. Diesel Site gives you an extension pigtail here to extend it out to that new location. And then from there, you are feeding high pressure oil to where the ICP sensor would normally go on a later style. And then you're also taking the plug out of the rail on this side and feeding it in that location as well. So not only are you getting the benefits of the standpipes, or the high flow standpipes in our case, which you guys saw, but we're actually going to be dual feeding it with the pump. So basically we're eliminating some restrictions and we are increasing the amount of oil flow that we're going to be able to get to our oil rail. So we're going to be maxing this pump every little bit of its capabilities out. But most likely we probably still won't be able to keep up with pressure-wise. We'll have the volume, but we won't have the pressure, and that's going to be an issue. But nonetheless, we're going to try it and see how it performs. So we've got the H-Pod set up in here. Now, you could technically take a factory passenger side valve cover and stick it on this side. Then you would have the port to be able to run this line to your oil rail. However, you then are eliminating the factory CCV. So it creates a lot of issues. And so when G&R Diesel came out with these valve covers, I noticed that they moved the CCV over to this side, but then they also offered a port on the back side of the driver's side valve cover, which was perfect for everything we needed to be able to run the H-Pod setup. So we ended up ordering a set of G&R billet valve covers. Of course, they look amazing as well, so a little bit of bling under the hood never hurts. But then we ran into our next issue. So Diesel Site has these huge fittings that go inside of there, and there is a seal that the valve cover seals to, and then this also seals to it as well. And this hole was countersunk. I will post a picture up here real quick. This hole was countersunk, and it would not allow me to screw that fitting in all the way. So we had to get it machined out, bored out, and a good buddy of mine was able to successfully do that. Very unique and awesome setup from him. And yeah, I'm super stoked because now with that bored out, we were able to tighten up our fitting. Everything's going to seal up properly. We're not going to have any issues. So a little bit of a hiccup, but we needed to get that done. And I'm very thankful for good friends that have some awesome machinery and knowledge to be able to help me out. Now, moving to the second issue, one of the other reasons that we pulled the engine out was because we had this hole and 3 holes on the passenger side here where the rocker box was stripped out. And so we would try to tighten these up and they would just start spinning. And yeah, so we had to pull the engine out so that we could try to keep things as clean as possible. And we went ahead and got all 4 of those holes done up with the time certs. If you guys don't know about these, this is probably the best way to repair these. You can see you can install a steel insert, and it's really cool because what you do is you drill it out. Once you drill it out, then you countersink it, counterbore it, with this little guy, and then you tap it with that, and then you thread your insert onto this right here. And when you thread your insert onto this, you'll notice that it's not perfectly round. And so when you screw that insert in, that piece there opens it up and seals it in there into your new threads. But now you're working with steel threads instead of aluminum, and you will never be able to strip that out again unless you're just an idiot. So yeah, we had to do 3 on this side, 1 on that side. We got those done up. And now, officially, the valve covers are done. They are on. The H-Pod setup is done, and it is on. The reason I got it moved over off to the side here is because of one of our intercooler pipes is a little bit in the way, and so we can't use this other hole, although that's not going nowhere. We're going to end this video here. You guys will have to stay tuned. We're going to start making more progress moving forward. Of course, we've got a bunch of stuff on the list of things to do. A lot of cool stuff coming, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll catch you next time.